wanted to start by introducing our keynote speaker, Rich Wolf. He's been a part of the leadership at ABC for many, many years.
Old man.
Rich is responsible for all the technical, operational, management systems associated with the distribution of ABC TV and to its 225 affiliates. He's also in charge of managing the contribution process of the programmers of the ABC TV network. And believe it or not, he's been at ABC for over 31 years. Amazing.
It is amazing. Mediocrity works.
Julie Barnathan.
Amen. Amen.
During Rich's career, he's led the transition to satellite, migration to digital, the implementation of their HD satellite distribution, and the transition of the ABC News One content delivery platform from a linear-based feed to a file-based feed. Please welcome Mr. Rich Wolf.
So thank you, Paul. Thanks for being here. I appreciate the invitation to speak here today. Some of us in this room have probably heard some of what I speak about. But where I usually begin to give people a little bit of a perspective is this poor aspect ratio depiction of the ABC television network map. And there's some really good features about what this distribution system does. And there's some features that maybe are challenging in the new world. So I'm throwing it out to you. Every picture tells a story. That's what Rod Stewart told us, right, in the late 70s. This picture tells what kind of story? Yeah, aspect ratio's off. I'll give you that. Well, one thing it tells us is that we have tremendous distribution partners. 225 broadcast affiliates that make up the television network. So that's one picture. But what does 225 head ends do in 2011? It's a little limiting. So as powerful as this distribution backbone is, the power is its distribution partners, the local television stations. Its limitation is it doesn't have tremendous scale. What else is pretty powerful about this is it's a high quality distribution backbone. It's a high available and highly reliable distribution backbone. Made up of a satellite distribution system. Dual satellite fed, primary uplinks in New York, geographic diversity in Los Angeles. Most every ABC affiliate has 2 antennas. If any failure occurs with the New York origination, Los Angeles is available near instantaneously. Those are powerful tools for a high quality content company. But as I said before, it's a little bit limiting, and the leaders of the Walt Disney Company are really recognizing what that means for the future of television. You're in luck here because you're not going to hear a dope like me. Much of what I'm going to talk about today is from Ann Sweeney. Ann Sweeney is the president of Disney ABC Television Group, and she was at MIPCOM, where she was the personality of the year and made her own keynote address. Some pretty basic and obvious things. Digital didn't disrupt our business, it unleashed it. TV is the medium around which all others revolve. TV ain't dead yet. This year, people around the world will watch 140 billion more hours of television than they did last year, for a total of 4.5 trillion viewing hours. Is that a dead platform? Global audience will grow by 40 million by the end of this year to 3.7 billion. Linear television is really the seed of what alternative media platforms are all about. My boss, Preston Davis, and Robert had interviewed me for a piece he was doing. He came up with a classic analogy about new platforms. New digital media platforms are like parasites. Like all parasites, they need hosts with which to live. The television network and linear television distribution systems are the hosts to the parasite businesses that are still in development. You kill the host, you kill the parasites. Traditional linear television, if for no other reason, is going to be around because it needs to be the seed for the new alternative platforms. The biggest change facing television in the future is the increasing personalization of media as viewers choose where, when, and how they watch programs. We were chatting outside a little bit before. The timing of this tech forum is pretty neat because, what did we say? The Thomas Edison of our generation died last week, Steve Jobs. And what did he teach all of us? He taught us about the power of portability, of taking content in any form so that you had your own identity. You had your own ability to grab it when you wanted it and program it as you see fit. So the timing of this technical forum is almost very intriguing, certainly in the media domain, because we're still going to play catch up to some of his amazing concepts that he had. Key point, as TV gets more personalized, it will also get less passive. Another thing that Steve Jobs taught us is that the sit-back experience, which is still powerful and will not go away, is not the only way to view and to gobble up or consume your information. We're going to become much more interactive in how television services and how entertainment and information is obtained. Television has always been something you watch. Now increasingly, it is also something you do. You know, simple statements here, but you could see 2011 is really a kind of a defining type of demarcation, because we're really entering into a world where television experience is going to be as interactive as it is passive. What we've learned is the more devices people have to watch content, the more television they watch. Digital is additive, not cannibalistic to our business. The threat that we grew up in 15 years ago and 10 years ago and 5 years ago that thought that our basic value of distributing this linear content feed was going to put us out of business. I got hired at ABC in 1980. They were talking about television being a dinosaur in 1980. Well, the dinosaurs lived for 500 million years. So there's a good chance that this type of business is going to be around, but it's going to be around in a far different way than it is today. The key to everything is good content. Duh, right? I mean, I work for the Walt Disney Company. There's a pretty good chance that the Walt Disney Company is going to figure it out. There's a pretty good chance that Time Warner is going to figure it out, because they've got the basics, which is content. And they know it needs to be consumed in all kinds of platforms, not one or the other, but all platforms in the future. So what are the future guiding principles that we have to govern ourselves by? The first thing about a guiding principle is it's going to change a lot, and it's going to change rapidly. So as all of you guys chart your strategic course for the direction, we got to be flexible. We've got to recognize that we don't have the answers in 2011 for the 5-year plan. Yes, we have to do a 5-year plan. Maybe you have to do a 5-year plan. But we know that the 5-year plan is going to be ridden with change. And our organizations need to adapt to that much better than I think we do today. So in the media business, in the broadcast business, in the content delivery business, it starts with the content. It's got to be accessible. It's got to be portable. That word, it's got to scale. We have 225 affiliates that make up the television network. Powerful distribution partners. It's very difficult to scale that. It takes some time, it takes some engineering, it takes some integration, it takes some implementation. So as powerful as that distribution backbone is, it doesn't scale with elegance. We have to be agile. And you've got to be able to control, some call it manage, control what you do. If you're distributing your content and you don't control it, you don't have a business. So one of the great features, and Dave Chilson's got it at CBS, and the Fox guys have it, and other organizations have it, is that we can manage and control our streams, our linear feeds, to our ABC affiliates. If we can do that in the new digital world and use those same types of management and control attributes and features, that's going to be a differentiator in the future. And a personalized experience. Television today, what makes it so powerful is it's almost a community experience. What Steve Jobs taught us is that we can personalize that view, and we can take it with us, and we can interact with it. And there's going to be some features that some people get paranoid about in the Big Brother world, because we're going to know what your habits are different from my habits. And we may actually personalize that delivery to you in a way that we can't do today. And virtualization is an important piece, and it goes to this cloud thing, which I know enough to be dangerous about. The virtualization allows scale to happen. You know, in the days of a broadcast plant, we had physical equipment that we need almost on a one-to-one relationship. What the cloud can enable, I believe, is the ability to use virtualization techniques so that you don't have a one-for-one hardware to consumer experience. So virtualization is going to be an important economic factor in building out scale going forward. And I guess the cloud is going to be part of our guiding principle in the future. I think our job over the next 3 to 5 years is to better understand where is it, how does it work, and how does it drive value for us. Some people believe it's 5 years away, it's 10 years away, it might even be 20 years away. Others believe it's ready now. So we've got to try to find that balance, and some of the technology leaders in this room, I think, are going to help define where we're going to go and how we're going to do it. And this is a Wolf guiding principle. It's get on the bus and smile. For a guy who's been around for 31 years, do I take kindly to change? Hell no. But the reality is, it's gonna change. And we've got to make sure that our employee base, the people we work for, our customer base, our consumers, are getting on the bus and recognize this change is there. You could do it begrudgingly, or you could do it with a little vigor, and hopefully we can make sure that the vigor works. So that was the opening comments. I'd love to open it up for any questions you guys have and make this a little interactive if possible. I'll put somebody on the spot. I'm not going to look at you, Chilson, because I always put you on the spot.
It's interesting when you start talking about control. You know, you have great content, all that. But the issue is we have to control domestically. What about the international scene, content theft? You know, all these consumers globally, we're not really picking up the tab. You know, what's your thought on that?
It's a good question. You know, the scale, right? For companies like ours, where the United States television distribution market, frankly, is fairly saturated. There is not high growth in that business. You can control things in ways that you apply your control principles today through other distribution mediums tomorrow. So our GUI interface that talks to a data path to television affiliates can be broadened. So I think we're going to be able to control whatever stream we have to whatever platform we deliver it in. And some of those standards probably exist today. Those SCUDdy 104s or whatever the heck they are. Those types of protocols and standards that allow us to actually have triggers in our streams are going to be the foundation for us to take a platform and a personalized platform and have a stream be more unique than it is today. And we can do that through the cloud, we can do that through the internet, and we can do that globally. It's going to take a lot of time to develop, but the same fundamental of control today to our 225 broadcast affiliates through internet-like tools that are global will be able to control unique streams that a device can receive. I think it's going to happen. Yeah, Mark?
Somebody's saying 100 million people with 100 megabit service. His name is Barack Obama. And he has a national broadband plan, which looks like it's going to trigger some voluntary auctions of broadcast spectrum and maybe cut the number of channels in half. How do you see this impacting the TV transmitter business, and each one of your affiliates has a transmitter. Are we seeing transmitters go away?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's the likely answer over time, it's yes. The local broadcaster is no longer a local broadcaster. They are a content provider. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they distribute their content over a 6 megahertz channel that the government has allocated. Important piece of the puzzle, drives value in many ways, but one thing that a local broadcaster does is provide local information to the community as well as anybody can. You know, I've worked at ABC for 31 years. I've been married for 34 years, so I do things pretty long, huh? Or just boring. My wife doesn't know the difference, and I've lived with her for 34 years, doesn't know the difference between, right. Yeah, I'm with you. What is she seeing here? Doesn't know the difference between ABC television network content and Channel 7 local content. She thinks it's all the same. And that's the power of that distribution backbone. She may still call it Channel 7. Sometimes it's network content. Sometimes it's local content. Sometimes it's national commercials. Sometimes it's local commercials. Sometimes it's national. Doesn't matter. It's a stream of seamless information managed and controlled by several people in that food chain. So I think the future, must carry is business. Must carry is business. Retransmission consent is business.
Well, won't that go away if the transmitters go away?
It's leverage. I don't disagree with you.